The universe built around Magic the Gathering is expansive, with varying worlds reaching far into the multiverse. Like our very own universe, it takes an educated mind years of study to really understand its mysteries. While we respect these people as scholars, however intelligent they may be, they don't hold a reading candle to some of the smartest characters found in the MTG storyline. Today, let's look at some of the smartest figures in the story of Magic the Gathering. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel for more Magic the Gathering lore. My name is Jeff, and today we'll be counting down 5 of the smartest characters found in Magic the Gathering. For this video, we'll be gauging intelligence by the deeds these people accomplished using their experience and education as a measure of merit. We can't really sit them down for an IQ test, though I really would like to see that, so this is gonna have to do. Remember, this is a list based off of my own understanding and opinion of the lore, so feel free to debate and make your own additions in the comment section below. Remember though, these are just some examples of super intelligent beings in MTG and not in any particular order. And certainly this doesn't contain every character out there. More of these lists are sure to follow, so please let me know your own picks for Smarties in MTG in the comment section. And with all that said, let's begin. Teferi. In a list of the most intelligent characters in MTG, you'd be hard-pressed to see Teferi's name absent from that roster. A famed student of the acclaimed Tolera College, Teferi was so bright that he became the pupil of Urza, one of the greatest thinkers and mages in MTG, as controversial as he may be. As a mage, Teferi excelled in his studies and would become the royal mage of his home region on Dominaria. However, his curiosity led him to make dangerous choices in his research, and this came to a head when he studied magic relating with time. While it was not his direct fault, Teferi would become trapped in a slow time bubble, and thus began his fascination with time magic, also known as chronomancy. Teferi was one of Urza's closest allies in the war against the Phyrexians, working on things such as the Thran Mana Rig, unlocking it and the Power Stone's secrets as a weapon to be used in that war. All of this would come to a head when Teferi defied his master's orders, however, and literally phased an entire continent out of the current time stream, thus protecting the people there from the oncoming Phyrexian attack. It would, however, be a decision Teferi in retrospect would come to regret, but it proved how skilled this mage was at time manipulation. Teferi would also go on to close one of the temporal rifts that threatened the stability of not only Dominaria, but the entire multiverse. Though it took some thinking, Teferi would sacrifice his own spark in order to heal that rift. Teferi was able to gain his spark back, though one can argue that he isn't as smart as he appears because he did go on to face Nicol Bolas twice, though he did go ahead and survive both, so maybe he's actually smarter than we think. Mem Nark. The constructed golem Mem Nark makes it to our list because it's basically a supercomputer with the evil ambition of a classic villain, though missing the twirly mustache, admittedly. Mem Nark proved a worthy adversary in the story of Mirrodin, as the machine would go on to change that plane forever. Memnarch was created by another artificially intelligent being, the Planeswalker and also noted smarty, Karn. In building his own artificial plane, Karn looked to protect his world as he was out planeswalking the multiverse, as one tends to do. Enter in his chief golem, Memnarch. As protector of the plane, Memnarch was of course brilliant and calculating, though this was probably to the detriment of Karn. Feeling jealous of its creator's ability to travel the multiverse, Memnarch hatched a plot to grow a spark of his own. With limited knowledge on that topic, Memnarch processed the possibilities of obtaining a spark from organic life and designed a way to transfer said spark into itself, making it a planeswalker. Memnarch created a series of special vacuums, and I'm not joking here guys, actual vacuums that transferred organic beings from other planes and dropped them on Mirrodin. These beings would live and create new civilizations, while Memnarch simply just waited for one spark to ignite. As it did, Memnarch attempted to steal said spark for itself, a feat even the greatest minds in the multiverse still struggle with solving today. Memnarch failed in its attempts, of course, but the sheer planning and ingenuity it took to put this plan into motion is why I consider Memnarch one of the smartest beings in MTG. Crewfix. This may be a controversial pick, but while we can gauge intelligence of a character based on the deeds they've accomplished, we can also base them on how much they actually know when compared to other plane-bound beings or otherwise. This is where I believe the Theros god of Horizons, Kruphix, really shows us just how intelligent he is. Kruphix is by far the oldest god on Theros, a plane ruled by physical representations of domains or aspects of life, known as gods. The sun god, Heliod, is the most praised and thus known as the god of gods, but Kruphix is the keeper of secrets, able to witness all events and peer into the minds of mortals. He's the keeper of possibilities, the seer of all, basically the thumb drive of all of Theros, predating even Heliod himself. So why do I think Kruphix is one of the most knowledgeable beings in the multiverse? Well, in terms of the realm of gods on Theros, Kruphix knows more about the multiverse at large than you'd ever see on a plane-bound construct. Kruphix knows secrets even the gods themselves aren't privy to, such as their own creation and origins. Kruphix remembers the birth of every god in the pantheon, and how they actually are merely physical constructs formed by the praise of mortals. Without belief, they wouldn't exist, and Kruphix notes that gods have faded from existence before. While the people in gods all believe they're eternal, Kruphix knows this to be false. Kruphix's knowledge is also not bound to just Theros. By witnessing events in the minds of planeswalkers that visited the plane, Kruphix has an understanding of the multiverse none other on Theros could dream of, even Heliod. He knows of the existence of other worlds and the threats they actually face. He knows of the Phyrexians, the Eldrazi Titans, and even of the big baddie Nicol Bolas, and he even admits that Theros would be doomed if any such threat would come to this plane. All this blind to the other gods in the pantheon, landing Kruphix firmly on this list. Azor. Next on our list is a Sphinx who basically started the modern story arc of MTG. His plans launched us to a plane that has become iconic to the game itself. With schemes still relevant today, this is Azor the First. For a long time, this character's identity was a complete and utter mystery. All we knew was that it was a planeswalker who formed the Azoria Senate Guild on the plane of Ravnica. But Azor was actually much more than that. As a Sphinx, we can already assume Azor was very intelligent and wise, but as a pre-mending planeswalker, that trait was bumped up to an insane degree. As a pre-mending planeswalker with almost unchecked powers to the level of godhood, Azor went from plane to plane, changing it in his image. And no, he didn't conquer it like Nicol Bolas planned to, but he did something that required a little more thought. He built them up, setting them into motion to be a successful civilization governed by rules and laws, orderly when they were first savage and untamed. Azor did this to assumingly countless worlds, including the before-mentioned Ravnica. He set up the guild system, which was undoubtedly one of the greatest successes on this planeswalker's resume. The guild system is praised as the perfect balance between different people and interests on a plane, promoting peace and order to all things. Yes, it had its flaws and loopholes, but the magic and design he left there is why we keep returning to this in-game. It's just one of the most perfect planes when it comes to balancing out color orders. Outside of this, he also planned a brilliant mission to trap Nicol Bolas well before the Gatewatch was ever even formed. Azor went and built the Immortal Sun, the device that traps and prevents planeswalkers from actually planeswalking. Azor personally built this device and lost his spark in the process. Though their plan failed, thanks to Ugin and his own failures, it's still worth mentioning that he at least tried and almost outwitted Nicol Bolas. Though he has since been mind-wiped by Jace Beleren, thanks a lot, Azor still stands as one of the greatest minds in MTG history. Tezzeret. Some characters in MTG are born with innate talent or magical prowess that gives them a leg up in the competition of the multiverse. Those traits certainly add to one's qualifications when gauging the smartest characters in MTG, but it's not the only way we can obtain knowledge. Sometimes good old-fashioned hard work and studying is all you really need, and that's certainly true with a character like Tezzeret. Growing up on the Shard plane of Esper before it was merged into Greater Alara, Tezzeret had nothing, coming from a poor family of scrappers. The only thing going for Tezzeret at the time was his uncanny ability to find and understand metal. That's all he started with, really. That, and a drive that puts most characters in MTG to shame. Tezzeret was motivated to make his position better, and to be powerful so no one else could take advantage from him. Doing so would mean he needs an education, but that was only for the privileged on Esper, so Tezzeret went and made himself privileged. He ran with gangs, using his cunning and guile to quickly rise through the ranks and take their resources. That resource being Ethereum, a magical metal used by the mages and scholars on Esper. There's only a finite amount of Ethereum left on Esper, and those in power use this metal to enhance their body parts. To have a prosthetic limb of Ethereum would put you in the highest ranks of society on Esper. Bit by bit, Tezzeret would steal, trick, and find as much Ethereum as he could, learning the trade of an artificer all throughout. He gained an apprenticeship that was meant to span 7 years, but Tezzeret learned everything he could in just 3. He then bought his way into the Merchants Guild, a training program for mages, a 17-year course that Tezzeret mastered in only 5. At the end, he had acquired enough Ethereum and knowledge of a master manipulator of metal and artificy that he crafted himself his own Ethereum arm, gaining him the rank of master far earlier than his peers or even veterans of the academy. That's just the beginning though. In discovering the dark secrets of the ancient mages on Esper, that they actually really didn't know garbage, Tezzeret went on to head the interplanar crime syndicate that stole and traded interplanar artifacts. This group was actually originally led by Nicol Bolas, but Tezzeret literally stole it right from under the dragon, which, gotta admit, takes guts and brains. Sadly, Tezzeret would eventually run afoul of Nicol Bolas and become his forced puppet, but in doing so, his intelligence proved worthy enough to keep him alive, which is no small feat with Nicol Bolas. Tezzeret would continue his intelligent ways by becoming literally the best artificer in all of Kaladesh, and using work done by others, manufacturing an interplanar portal or bridge, and incorporating it into his own Ethereum body. Like him or hate him, Tezzeret is a genius and one of the smartest planeswalkers around. And there you go guys, just 5 figures I consider to be some of the smartest characters in the MTG storyline. Of course, these aren't the only ones around, and I'm sure I've missed some of your favorites. So go ahead and let me know who I should include in my next video by leaving a comment below. I also want to know what other videos in this style you'd like me to cover. Biggest creatures, worst threats, leave those in the comments as well. As always guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave it a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss out on our newest videos. Of course, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time guys, see ya!